The fact that there is now a man.
Like you undid your wetsuit.
And pulled your pee-pee out.
In the ocean floor.
And put it in a clam.
And thought that was going to go over well.
I think
the giant clam wasn't going to bite it right off.
There's some guys out there that just put it in anything.
Well, so I sent it to Mr. Boat Captain because I was like, is this real life? And he goes, it's actually a thing, kind of like the Mile High Club. He's like, there are people that want to literally have sex on the ocean floor. And I'm like, that is my nightmare.
Okay, but having sex with another human being on the ocean floor versus a clam?
No, you would do it, Lauren?
No, I'm saying that's more like I could see how someone out there be like,
well, one, I don't do well with snorkeling. I'm not going to do well with trying to fully breathe while also having sex. Two, so much salt. Hey, y'all.
welcome to Kitty Whispers.
Episode 12.
Yeah.
Season 3.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm just ready to roll. We're back in the studio. It's been fun
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
to come back.
Usually editing is, depending on the episode, is usually one of my least favorite things when we're trying to clean it up. We don't cut a lot of things for you guys, but we try to save you all from certain repeats or coughs, Daidrie, and
It's the pneumonia.
yeah. And so anyway, but I had so much fun editing it. We hope you guys had fun listening.
Yeah.
It's been out now, so just so y'all know, it's a Friday before Labor Day, and so usually our aim is for the beginning of the week whenever we get it out, and so
That's the goal.
yeah. So this week it's been out for a couple of days, and we've already gotten some really good feedback on it.
Yeah. My boat captain listened to the episode.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I got much feedback from him because he's a man of few words. Let's just say that.
isn't that what he said to you?
What do you mean?
That he was a man of few words.
I mean, he is, yeah, 100%. So
what did he think of the episode, though?
I think he liked it. He thought it was funny. And he was like, what did he say? He said he didn't think he was like worthy of being discussed on the podcast. And I'm like, yes, you are. If I want to lick your face, then you're worthy of being discussed on this podcast.
If you give us Ladywood,
Yeah, if you give us
or you give us
little-
a migraine, one of the two.
one of the two. But
Well, I on the other side,
who?
the chopper guy,
The chopper. The chopper.
the chopper, the pilot.
Do you want to tell them what you thought was going to happen, but it can still happen. But I think Lauren misunderstood the happenings.
I did not, and I'm going to have an
You
update.
100% did. Did you ever confirm?
No,
Okay, so she's been talking to this chopper man, and he makes
that's not what we're going to call
he
him.
makes this promise of like, we could hook up in a helicopter if you want to. Like, that's an option. And in my mind, when she says this to me, I'm like, that'd be kind of cool. But I automatically assume it's a grounded helicopter.
Okay.
Like, if anything, y'all are just going to bone in the actual helicopter on the ground.
What fun? Not that that's not fun, but where's the fun in that?
I don't know, because it's just like doing it in a car. Obviously, it's always fun to do it anywhere besides a bed.
You give me a choice of a car, unless it is in a heated moment and we have like, take me right now. But to me, that would be the equivalent of hooking up in your car that's parked in your garage rather than just walking inside to the
No.
bed.
You know what I thought of immediately? I thought of Pearl Harbor. You know, whenever they're like in the air chute and they're making out and boning in the parachute hang up and whatever. And so I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to like hook up in a helicopter, whatever. Lauren thought
I
he
still
could
think-
put.
I still think. I still think.
Lauren-
I'm holding on to it.
Lauren literally was so hype about this, and she's like, this is going to happen. This is on my bucket list. She thought he was going to put the helicopter in autopilot, and they're going to fuck in the sky.
Why are you killing? You're being a dream killer right now.
No, because I'm like, first of all, helicopters are so unstable. Even I know that. Like, the
Okay.
wrong wind gust, they're going down.
Okay. So...
And she's thinking this guy's just going to put the helicopter in autopilot and they're going to
because
get down on the helicopter. Oh, my.
Well, because I know other pilots and they say that there are some that you can put in a autopilot. Now, helicopters, I know you have to fly with both hands, and I know it's harder than a plane. So I do understand.
I would be like, you have lost your fucking mind if you think I'm going to fuck you in a flying helicopter. That's how Kobe died.
I'm fucking in a helicopter.
No, but he died in a helicopter, and that was with 2 hands on the steering wheel. And so, no.
It's not a steering wheel. I
So
think
I
they're
just-
gear shifts.
Probably.
I have no idea.
But I just thought it was really
I mean,
fucking
we
funny
need to
that Lauren thought that they were going to screw on an actual in-flight helicopter. But you know what else is funny? And I talked to the boat captain about this because he's a little more schooled when it comes to the ocean and things you can do in the ocean. So Lauren sends me this news article about this man that was scuba diving and decides to stick his penis in a large, giant clam, which I'm sorry, but if you're an avid scuba diver, you would know pretty quickly those things just don't subtly keep their mouths open, because if something swims into it, it clamps down.
The fact that there is a man out there, like, we remember when we had the episode about the sex laws, and it was like talking about how like
don't fuck a fish.
Yeah, don't fuck a fish. Don't fuck a goat. Don't, like, you can't fornicate your neighbor's cow. Like, there was all these things.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Stoic, that maybe that should be his name. He's like, it's actually a thing, kind of like the Mile High Club. He's like, there are people that want to literally have sex on the ocean floor. And I'm like, that is my fucking nightmare.
Okay, but having sex with another human being on the ocean floor versus a clam?
No, you would do it, Lauren?
No, I'm saying that's more like I could see how someone out there be like,
well, one, I don't do well with snorkeling. I'm not going to do well with trying to fully breathe while also having sex. 2, so much salt. And 3, there are so many creatures in the ocean.
I'm not saying I want to do it in the bottom of the ocean.
I just don't understand how people, it'd be one thing if you were staying in like that hotel in Dubai that's like underwater. That would be one thing.
That still checks the box.
Yeah. But I'm not in the water. I'm in a bed underwater. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, but let's just for a second, let's take it back. So with the helicopter conversation, it was mentioned in a way that made it sound like it could happen in the air.
She read it to me and I immediately took it as it was going to happen in the helicopter that's on ground.
I did respond to him in a way that was very excited.
She was pumped.
It was here. It created a bucket list item. Like,
well,
it was
now
like
I know
imagine
why
like a
you
list.
were so excited
boom,
about
boom,
it.
Boom, boom,
And then in your mind, you're like,
I know. Let me tell you, it created a bucket list item for me. Now, I didn't know it was something that I wanted to do, but it immediately became something that I wanted to do. Kind of like playing the fiddle last week. Didn't know I wanted to do that, but if you go and y'all watch it on YouTube, and you can see, I literally, my face, my heart breaks when she's like, "A fiddle is hard, Lauren." And
It is.
But I immediately wanted to cry. Like, I didn't even know I wanted to play it that bad, but I didn't know I wanted a fucking helicopter in the sky until he said it. And then it became a thing.
As possibly an option.
But now whenever I asked him, because I did ask him, he just kind of like skirted around it. So now it makes more sense that he's probably like, she's in her mind thought that this was going to happen in the air, and there's no way it's going to live up to that. And so
it can't happen. I don't think it's an option. But you know what could happen, though?
what?
I feel like a hot air balloon. You could do it in a hot air balloon.
Where do we have a lot of those at our disposal?
Well, every year Sulphur Springs has a hot air balloon festival.
Sounds crowded. Sounds real crowded.
Yeah, I mean, you would obviously have to learn how to fly the hot air balloon by yourself. unless you wanted the pilot to be an audience.
No, I like the fact that he's a Black Hawk helicopter pilot. It's a little sexier than he's a hot air balloon pilot.
Well, I'm just saying that would be the safer option if you're wanting to do it in the air.
Whatever. It's probably not going to happen. It's fine. Just break my heart.
It's not going to happen, I'm telling you. Unless you just do a landed on the ground helicopter.
Fine.
But I thought me and Kelsey, my friend Kelsey, we were like cracking up because I was like, you thought he was going to put this helicopter in autopilot? I would be like, no, sir. One bird that flies into the blades, we're going down.
Well, I mean, okay, so maybe I'm just I was trusting his abilities a little bit more than logically thinking.
Yeah. It's okay.
So
one
fine.
can dream, but it was funny.
Yeah. We'll see.
So I have, my nephew, I talk about him all the time. And I'm just going to start dropping like Rhett knowledge on y'all because he's gotten to where he just has an over amount of information that he wants to give me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just really funny. And so this morning, I'm just putting it out there, guys. I've been constipated for like a month. I mean, we talk about my bowel movements all the time. It's a problem. Like, I have been constipated for like a month. Well, Rhett has the same issue. And so I'm in the kitchen and I'm just talking to him about it. And I'm like, Rhett, I'm turning into you. Like, I haven't been able to go to the bathroom for like a month. Well, I mean, I have, but it just hasn't.
Are you okay?
No, it hasn't been regular. And he goes, that ain't good, D. That means you're not healthy. And I was like, first of all, if I'm saying I'm being like you, then that means you're not healthy. He was like, no, I'm healthy. I fart all the time. And I was like, okay. And he goes, if you fart at least 20 times a day, that means you're healthy.
Does he count them?
Oh, apparently.
I would ask him.
But it was 7 a.m. and I was informed by him that if you fart more than 20 times a day, that you are in fact a healthy individual.
I've heard that, actually.
What?
That the average person farts 20 times a day.
I mean, I'm not keeping count, but that wouldn't shock me.
I don't think I fart 20 times a day.
I don't think I do either.
Maybe we're the ones that do it in our sleep.
Oh, 1,000%. I've had video recording of me farting in my sleep.
You sent it to me.
It's so terrible. It's a good one, though. I was like, this is not.
It was like fart, like
it
gas
was
detected
loud.
or something.
Flatulence.
Yeah. Well,
so sometimes I'll just drop some Rhett knowledge on y'all.
Yeah, I like that. As far as your weekend plans for Labor Day, what are you going to do?
I don't really have any plans. My friend Cheyenne just moved back from Phoenix.
I can't wait to meet her.
I know. I want y'all to meet so bad. But
hopefully she won't think I'm intimidating.
I know. We're going to talk about that in a second. But no, she wants me to come and see her and stay the night on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Like with them. But I told her, I'm like, y'all moved on the other side of Fort Worth. You might as well still live in Phoenix.
Yeah, it's so far.
So far. But I can like take Parker and stuff. So
that'll be good.
I might do that. I don't know. What are you doing?
Well, my daughter turns 13 on Sunday. And so even though I feel like we've been living those teenage years for a hot minute now.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way, just, girls. And then.
Which y'all pretty much celebrated her.
I mean, I took her to the Zach Bryan concert as a surprise. We're going to do a little.
Big.
It was huge. So I gave her my gift already, but she still wants to have like a little friend birthday party. So we're probably going to do that next weekend. But because it's Labor Day, so many people are out of town and things. They're going to be with their dad. So I have the weekend to myself for the most part. I'm going on a dinner date with a girlfriend tonight. And even though Daidrie is trying to get me to.
I wanted to hang out, and she told me
canceled.
she already had plans. So now I'm like,
yeah,
excuse me?
Yeah. I mean, and I did.
I didn't say cancel. I just was like, can't we all three go somewhere else?
That's not what she said.
That is what I said.
Maybe in her head.
I said, you're going to Ben?
You go, that's too fancy of a thing for tonight. I should just come over.
Yeah, I wanted to come over and we could order our food. But I didn't say she couldn't be there. She can join us.
Well, hopefully I don't know, you make her so nervous.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It is hilarious because Lauren and I are best friends. But for some
Besties
reason,
for the bestie.
like we have other best friends and close friends outside of our friendship.
Yeah, we share some mutuals.
Yeah,
and
we
then
share
each
mutuals,
have
and then we
separate,
each have our own like friends.
which is a
and-
healthy balance, by the way, like adult
Yeah.
friendship. Yeah,
But it's funny because it's like my friends are all, Lauren always makes them nervous. And then same with her friends. I make them nervous. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
We're the most chill individuals on the planet. And I don't know if it's like they're just trying to impress me because you've hyped me up and vice versa.
I think they know how important you are to me. Yeah. And they probably also are a little intimidated over the fact that we have a podcast. And who knows? Because when we sit down,
Yeah.
we try to keep and follow a certain thing, but we also are best friends. So sometimes we are a little bit more open than if I had this podcast with someone else, right? Like,
Yeah.
or if you had it with someone else, like you and I just kind of sometimes things just come out. So maybe they were a little nervous about this conversation right here possibly happening. Maybe they're nervous about whatever, but she's told me, she's like, they think you are
Super serious.
super serious, reserved.
There's just been,
I feel like I don't really know. I mean, I guess that can be me. The other one, they're like, Daidrie just so put together, and she
I am. That's what I want y'all to think.
even has gone as far as to be like, I don't know. I came down and after my run, and here she comes in her matching hat and shoes and bracelets, and they're all the same color. And I'm like, but that's Day.
Yeah.
Like, that's Daidrie. You have to understand that she's matchy match, but maybe her brain's not always matchy match with the outside.
Well, that's what I tell my people in my family all the time. I'm like, I have to be put together on the outside because it's chaos everywhere else.
Yeah. Well, and I think some of the people that you've gotten close with, I know them through business stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like
They only see you in a professional
mode, you
Yeah.
know? But I mean, I also think in my mind, we talked about it last week with the Casey, like in my mind, I'm like, I was being nice and like, or I was being friendly or, oh, I'm being fun. But what they're saying is like reserved and serious. And probably in my brain, I'm like, oh, what am I going to eat after I leave here? Or where do I have to go
Same.
next? Or I'm like, who knows? It's not always fully present here. But I thought it was so funny to be described that way.
I know, both of us, because we're both so like goofy together.
Like,
and,
so goofy.
Just say and do the most random shit, and we're so at ease. And then it's like whenever you hear it, because I'm like, she's the most chill person on the planet. What's your problem?
Well, and usually whenever we're together, even if we're around those people, I think like just being around you in social settings like that, I'm a little bit lighter. You know what I mean? And so the fact that they still think that about me, like maybe not after we played trivia and we had a networking thing, and it was so much fun at a local little pub, and we played trivia. Kitty Whispers team won.
Yeah.
First place.
It was hard too.
It was hard, and I knew a lot of the answers.
You know what's funny? The best, the section that we did the best on was the snack section. The questions about food and cookies and snacks. I was like, why are we dominating on this part of it?
That was when we took the lead. We took the lead.
We took the lead in the snack section. Nobody snacks like us.
Well, and then also, I don't know, like 9-10 guys that I went to high school with that were in my grade, they were there having their fantasy football draft right behind us.
Yeah.
So when we started hitting the sports, I phoned a friend like, hey.
Yeah. What's funny is your back was to that guy. I didn't even meet him, and y'all went to high school together, and he just kept looking at me and like giving me the answers. And I was like,
because I looked at him, I said, we're going to need your help on this part. And he's like, okay, I got you. And so like
I knew all of them. So I was impressed.
That was real nice. I do have to say, this was kind of funny. So when Daidrie and I are together and our cute friend Kelsey was with us. And so we were having a lot of fun at our table.
Yeah.
And so some other guys that were there were hanging out, like the cool kids, afterwards. And so they came over and they were kind of chatting with us. And he by no means was being inappropriate,
right.
but he was also like, oh, well, I had to come over and meet Kitty Whisperers. And we're like, I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, definitely have heard of the podcast. Listen. Oh yeah, we've listened. And they're like, it's like taking notes, it's like sometimes I'll say things that maybe my, partner wouldn't tell me or whatever. And so I was like, yeah, we've heard that before.
I love that.
Yeah. And
why did I not hear this conversation?
Well, and then he's like, this was kind of directed at both of us. He's like, but I'm just trying to understand one thing that doesn't make sense to me. He's like, y'all seem so cool. So not scary, but he's like, y'all seem so cool. He's like, but how are you single? And
I wonder this every day, sir.
And I go, when? He's like, would you go out to meet people? And I was like, oh, for work? And he's like, no, out to meet people. And I go, oh, well,
no,
not if I don't have to. And he was like, well, what do you do? And I go, honestly, I like to be at home with my plants.
Yeah.
I said I was trying to do an Irish goodbye to everyone, and Day sucked me in over here with trivia. And so that's why I'm here right now. But I really would rather be at home drinking wine, hanging out in my garden. And you know what he said? That is the oldest thing I've ever heard anyone say. And
no, it wasn't that. That's what you said.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what you said. That was the oldest thing because even I said, really? We were talking about her ladder and how her ladder was broken.
Oh.
And she said, I haven't even been able to climb up and reset my morning glories. And I said, did you just say that?
Okay, you're right. Because
that's 100%.
Because then I felt like I had to justify.
That's when he goes, that is
home.
The oldest.
He said, that is the oldest thing I've ever heard somebody say. He goes, are you 82? I was like, no.
I said, basically.
That's when I was like, no, but I would rather be at home with my plants.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel the same way. I'm like, how am I supposed to meet someone unless they fall through my ceiling? It's not going to happen.
And I'm not doing apps. I'm done with the interwebs.
See, so I have done the apps,
Painful.
and I've recently been swiping, and I did match with this guy, and he is cute, and I think we are going to go on a date. He's been messaging me, and he's a ginger.
It just sounds terrible.
He's a ginger.
Well, good luck.
But he's 6'2".
Okay.
And he's from Minnesota.
I like that.
I know. I think he said Minnesota.
It sounds the way you just said it.
He has that accent. And he's from the Midwest.
Okay.
And so, his accent and mine, can you imagine the two together? Woo.
If y'all ever had a baby, that poor baby
oh my God,
would
I know.
so terrible.
It would just, actually, it might be kind of cool. They'd be like, where the hell is this
y'all,
thing
don't
from?
you know? I don't even
Don't you know?
Yeah, y'all.
Don't you know, y'all?
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Good luck with that, but I just don't feel like apps are the thing.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I do it because I'm bored.
No.
But he does seem nice. But then I have PTSD. You know why? Because
butt cheek.
No.
Oh.
But my ex used, whenever we met, he was 0 to 100.
Sorry, you took it real serious.
No, it's not serious. Whenever we met, he was 0 to 100 and calling and FaceTiming. He wasted no time. Well, this guy's kind of done that. And it kind of just makes me want to be like, skirt. You know what I mean?
I think sometimes, and it's probably very hard, but guys and girls, it's like, is this other person real? So being able to put a face and a voice to it, and
that's fine with me. But that's why I'm like, maybe I'm not ready for dating because I'm still messed up on this shit that he did.
So I wanted to kind of address that. Last episode, we talked about it, and I think I didn't want to sound, and I don't think that I did because it wasn't the feeling. But again, I'm now having to question: did I sound serious? Was my face smiling? But I sounded possibly. I don't want to sound like, what was the word that those guys called us?
I'd have to see it.
Not scorned, jaded.
those guys. The guys from Regrettable.
Yeah, sorry, my brain
called
farted.
us jaded.
And so I'm like, I'm not
honest, but everyone is jaded at our age.
Yeah,
it's
like,
not a bad thing.
Well, I was gonna say I didn't want to sound jaded in the sense of like he burned me so bad that I'm never gonna be open to giving somebody a chance or dating. Because like when you had asked me, you said, what if you go on this date and you have a really nice, great time, like with the nice guy that. And he's cute. I don't want to just call him a nice guy, but the one that's local that's here. Anyway, the pilot, he asked me on a date, but we've been talking pretty much all summer, but because of scheduling and stuff, we haven't been able to
link up.
Yeah, again, recently. And so, but he was like, would you want to go on a date? Well, earlier in the day, we both had the same, I had the conversation because you were like, well, you need to tell him. So I was like, I don't want to ever mislead anyone. I'm not really interested or looking. I'm all for having a nice time, not just, again, sexually, but just kind of open to that. And he's like, no, I guess it's actually been a little bit longer since he's been divorced than I initially thought. But he was like, yeah, I'm kind of not in that place either. He travels a lot. And so anyway, I just did not want to sound like, I was like, sure, which I thought was a very hard turn from where we just had this conversation, but I don't want to make sure that I didn't sound like I'm completely shut down to ever possibly, if I go on a date or we start talking and I enjoy someone, I don't think that I'm crushing on people. You can crush and like people. I don't want to sound like I'm not capable of that it's just people are objects, because that's not how I feel either. Mm-mm. So
you're just still healing over. Yeah.
I just
wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. And I'm dealing with the same stuff. You know what I mean? I don't want to be shut off to the idea of dating and opening myself up to someone else and I try to go into every situation, same with, I've been cheated on but I'm never going to carry this whole, I hate when people are like, I have trust issues because I've been cheated on. Knock it the fuck off.
Yeah. I'm not one of those.
Because that's punishing someone else for what someone else did to you. And that's not fair. And so I go into every dating scenario with a clean slate. Aside from what I've been through and the hurt that I've had done to me, I'm not going to punish someone over someone else's behavior. And so I go into every scenario with, okay, I'm going to trust this person until they give me a reason not to.
Right.
So
and I think we've talked about it plenty, that we both are a little too trusting. We give everybody the full benefit of the doubt until they take away from that. Right. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've, since that happened about, I guess it was 5 months ago now, but that instead of just being so trusting and so open in the beginning, I have always been, because I do the same thing. I don't hold people. I don't want to be judged or have my past.
You weren't with him though.
What do you mean?
I think you were guarded going in with him too. And I think that's where it gets murky. You know what I mean? And I feel the same way. I feel
I felt like I did my due diligence. I waited.
Yeah,
I did all. Did. I felt
that's what I'm saying, and that's the disheartening part,
right?
Of being at our age dating is we do feel like we took the right steps this time.
Yeah, but you can't foresee when someone is just so completely deceitful.
No, you can't.
And so, but with somebody new, anybody with let's say pilot comes in town and we go on a date, and the chemistry and all of the things are still there and we really enjoy each other. I don't want it to be there's zero expectation, but there's also, it's not like I'm making it harder. I don't want people to feel like we're the other guy. I don't want it to feel like I'm making it harder for them. I'd be holding all this past shit against them, because that's not who I am either. And well, you may like me, but it's an you are not able to get through to me or my heart. It's unreachable, because that's also very well, then why try, so I don't want to come across that way, because that's not where I am either. He's, just because my ex ended up being full of poo-poo does not mean that I now look at as cynical as thinking that everybody is full of poo-poo. But it does make you want to do your due diligence a little bit. And I think for me, it's just taking things slow and easy and being present and enjoying it, and then not having an expectation.
Overthinking it.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest thing is I always say expectations lead to disappointment.
I think I taught you that.
And so I try to go into every scenario without expectations. But I naturally have expectations.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that you have more expectations.
And I try not to, but I think it's because I'm so...
Yeah, not to say standards, where I'm not talking about standards.
No,
I'm
it's
talking
not
about
standards. It's just
expectation.
like an expectation of...
But maybe I did. I thought he was going to take me up and do it in a plane or in a helicopter mid-flight, and maybe he was just meaning on the ground.
That was 100% a good example of expectation that you set for yourself.
Right. I just got carried away and got real excited.
And now she's disappointed.
I am. I'm like, he's like, do you want to see it in the helicopter? And I'm like, man, it's all right. No, I'm just kidding. I would. I think it'd be really cool, but
it would be really cool.
But anyway, it's so those kind of moments and those things is like navigating now. And I think that for me, the biggest thing and where I feel like I'm at is I want to be present. I don't want to be afraid of it. I don't want to be closed off to it, but I'm also not eagerly looking for it or wanting those things, because my life does feel so full and busy right now that if things happen, if I go out meet somebody tonight, who knows? You know what I mean? Like if something should occur, maybe, but I even feel like with that, I would be taking my time because I'm not in a hurry to rush anything with anyone, you know, but that also kind of brings us to our topic today. So when Daidrie and I over the summer went to the casino, on our way back on a road trip, we were coming up with dating questions, and I had kind of mentioned this, that I gave the full rundown last time. So we thought we would share the questions with you.
Yeah.
And
these are good for everyone to...
Yeah. These for us was not that it's like background checking.
They're kind of funny.
Yeah. But it's also very valid things that...
And at our age need to be a concern.
And if
a requirement.
Well, and the thing is there are questions, and my last relationship taught me, there are questions that maybe you don't think you have to ask because you just assume, but you can never assume the best in everybody. like, you know
what they say about assuming?
It makes an ass out of you and me.
And that's true.
So the very first one, and I'll take it, was, do you have a record? Like, do you have any current...
I've never had an issue with this thing, but Lauren seems to keep running into it.
Okay,
so.
first of all, no. It was, or like issues with substances or problems, because like he was sober when we got together, and then he relapsed, and turns out he had DWIs, and I had no idea. So it was like
good.
Things like that. That's what I mean. Like, obviously, but you never know what that possible answer could be, right?
No, some people can hide it really well.
Right. And
honestly, I've met a lot of people that are very forthcoming about it. Like, they'll be like, I don't drink because I have a problem with alcohol. Yeah. And it's like,
right.
Good to know.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. It's like, I don't hold that part. It's not like that. It's not like we're asking these questions for judgment. It's more of like, how does this fit into my life and what I want? Like, I like to have but
it's to the point where you have to ask, like, do you have a fucking record? Because then it comes up later that it ain't good.
Yeah. I mean, just to find out, because like what I do in my line of work, if you've ever had a DWI, if you've ever had any type of higher than a misdemeanor C, like traffic ticket, you have to report that every single time you renew your license and your stuff and you're, getting recertified. So I do think that it's important to know what you're getting yourself into. Right.
Yeah. And even if they do have a record,
that's fine.
I just want to know that you've taken the steps to clear your name and it's not happening again.
Or that it's more of like a case closed, and it's nothing ongoing. It's nothing that is just still open and that they're dealing with, because obviously that just it's not good.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I have plenty of friends. I have records and charges. I have people who've been reformed that I know that I love, and I think they're great, wonderful people. So it's not that it's that. It's more of like, do you have any of these in your past, and is it something that's been addressed and is it handled?
Yeah.
So that's question number 1.
Okay. Number 2, have you ever willingly gone to therapy, or are you, doing
Like any
work on yourself.
Yeah.
I do think this is important because, like my parents, they're kind of in that age range where it's like, we don't want to go to therapy. I don't want to talk about my problems. Like, whatever. But mental health is such important to both of us. And I want to, like, I feel like the last person I dated, he was very black and white in a lot of the way he thought about when it came to mental health. And I think rather than educating himself on it, he wanted to have a hard ideology of this is what that is. You know what I mean? And it just frustrated me because I'm like, every person's situation is different.
Well, we live in a gray world, right?
We do.
And that is really important to me is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you have zero emotional intelligence, then I don't really want to have anything to do with you.
And it's so important to show empathy and compassion for people that are
self-awareness
through those things. I mean, I can honestly say I do have people in my life that I feel like milk the shit out of it, but that's going to be on your own terms to like decide that. But
milk the shit out of what?
Just like, you know, the attention that comes with mental health.
Oh, I gotcha. Maybe it's like an excuse. Yeah. But I mean, if people go to therapy because they're in a relationship and they go to couples therapy, I think that's great that you show willingness to do that. We're more or less focusing on for yourself. Like, what kind of work have you done within yourself so that, I mean, if you have not evolved as a person and you're in your mid 30s to 40s and you've not taken any steps to gain some emotional intelligence in the way that you are able to look at things in the world differently than you did 5 years ago or 10 years ago, then that means to me that mentally you're still maybe even a 15-year-old boy in your head or a 20-year-old boy, and you're not someone that I'm going to be able to relate to, and it's going to have a lot of issues. That was a big thing in my last relationship, that same thing. The world is, like you said, everyone's situation is so different, but tell me what you've done.
Right.
How have you dealt with your childhood trauma?
I know. But I do think a lot of men still struggle with that because it's viewed as, especially in the South, it is viewed as a weakness.
Yeah.
Like if you're in touch with your emotions, or if you acknowledge, you know, that you have depression or anxiety or any of that, in the South, it is so viewed as,
I'm sad today.
Yeah, a negative thing.
But can I tell you that I don't think that there's one of the most sexiest things about a man is a man that is strong and masculine, but also capable of being vulnerable and is in touch with himself and his feelings, because one, that he is going to look at you and think of your feelings and your thoughts, or your children or his children, or he's not just showing up in every single situation thinking only of himself.
Right.
And so being able to do that and step out of issues and consider other options, or consider that you may know something about this better, or even though it's different than him, if you look at everything so much in a black and white and, you know, right or wrong and not everything else, then it, to me, like, that's such a turn off. So I would rather have a man that, I'm not saying I want a sissy baby, but I want a man that it feels comfortable and secure enough. That's the word, secure enough within himself and his own identity and masculinity that he can also acknowledge that he has
having those conversations.
Yeah, that he has those parts in him. You know, tell me you're sad or you're stressed or that you've had a bad day, and that, I mean, otherwise we're not going to jive. We're not going to work.
No.
So it's a good one.
Exactly.
I think the next one, so it would fall on this. What is your tax bracket? And I said this last time. I didn't mean it in a way of like gold diggerish. What is how much you make a year, bruh? You know, like, it was not one of those.
Yeah, but we don't want someone that's unemployed.
The reason for me is I learned the hard way that if you are not, and I think men can feel this also. I mean, I know that we live in a society that's shifting to more of an equal viewpoint on that, even though equal pay is not
It's still not a thing.
It's still not 100% there. But thankfully I work in an industry where it does not matter. But the reason why I had that question, I think that was mine, is if you're not equally yoked on finances, you're not able to do the same things or go to the same places or take trips, or how are you providing for yourself? Like, are you financially, we're at an age where you should at least have some of that for yourself. And so I never, ever will be with a man that falls below at least. You don't even have to make as much as me, or you can make more than me. But if you're not making enough that is a sustainable amount for yourself and your livelihood and you're comfortable, because that is where I'm at, I don't think that we fit together. No. So that was the question. Not because I'm a gold digger, but because I don't want a gold digger.
Because we don't want to take care of you.
I'm not your mama bitch.
No.
Yeah.
It'd be different if like we were in a relationship and then something happened.
Oh, that's completely different. Yeah,
that's when
I'm
we're
talking
starting out.
Yeah. Well, and if you're not financially secure in a way like that, at least recognize it and be like, well, I'm focusing on my career right now. I'm working and I'm doing those things. But then why is your focus on trying to expand and have somebody else in your life when you're not there yourself? You know what I mean? And so that means to me priority. There's other areas that those priorities are probably out of line also. Yeah. So, but if I'm with somebody and something happens, or they want to start a business, or way down the road, like, I'm going to hold you down, and vice versa, because shit happens. But I'm talking about out the gate. So,
word. What number are we on? Oh, what is your taste in music?
This is your question.
I know. And the only reason I say this is because of the irritation of the last one. It was like constant bickering.
What was it?
I don't like heavy metal and hard rock. If you want to work out to that, that is fine. But you're not going to play it in the car to where my temples are throbbing. Like, let's mutually have a cool playlist that we both enjoy.
Yeah. You should be able. Well, I love going to live music and things like that. We don't have to like all of the same music. You don't have to love every single thing I love, and I don't have to love everything you do. But
let's respect what each other likes mutually,
right?
And not just torment the person.
What if you met? What if this ginger you go out with, and he is so wonderful and so great. And then you get in the car with him and he starts playing like Nickelback.
Oh my God. Well, him and I already talked about music, and I think we're on the same page as far as like taste in music.
Dang it.
And honestly, I'm not like this huge music guru, but I like to have a good time in the car and play fun things. And if I turn Taylor Swift on, sing the fucking song with me. Don't be like, I can't believe you even listen to this shit. Like,
I don't expect him to like sing it with me, but don't turn it off just because I like it.
Well, it's just the negativity behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, just like with Nickelback, I'll listen to it. I think it's funny at this point, but at the same time, I'm like, don't be obnoxious about it. Let's come to a common ground.
My question: do you enjoy cooking? Like, are you a picky eater? Do you like to try new things?
The picky eater thing was big for me because I've dated men that are picky eaters, and I'm sorry, but I have no patience for it.
I feel like your taste buds change every 7 years.
They do. They mature.
Like your mental health, you should be maturing also. Took the words right out of my mouth. Like, I'm not saying we have to like all the same things, but I love to cook. I love to try. I'm a foodie.
Then that's another thing. If you're a picky eater and the guy you date is a picky eater, cool. Then y'all can be picky together. I'm not a picky eater. I like to try new things and I cook a lot. I don't want someone picking out and bitching about tomatoes that are put in a salad.
Because, I mean, you heard. I like to order everything on the pizza. Do you mean now I can no longer get all of my toppings because you don't like them? You know? These questions are not, there's not wrong answers. Like if somebody's like she just said, like if somebody is a picky eater, that's cool. If you're a picky eater, y'all go together. Y'all both like heavy metal? Awesome. You know, y'all both are in a certain tax bracket that works for you, or your sugar mama or sugar daddy situation works. That's awesome. These are just more tailored for us and what we have learned for ourselves.
Well, because we enjoy cooking. Like one of one of my dear friends, her husband like I call him a meat and potato guy, like meat and potato. That's all he'll eat. He won't eat green vegetables. Like,
don't make me feel like I'm cooking dinner for my kid, you know?
I mean, but I just, at that point, at an adult age,
yeah.
I'm concerned for your health at that point.
Right.
Do you know
drink
what I mean?
green juice?
Well, and I cook so much. I'm like, I want to be able to cook and not have to like tailor the meal.
Right.
To make it specific to what you need or what you want. Like, that's just always, that's a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hobbies. Yes. Do you have hobbies outside of the relationship? Do y'all have your own hobbies?
What do you enjoy doing? How do you spend your time?
And y'all don't even have to like the same hobbies.
Oh, I don't want to like the same thing.
Like, I don't care if a guy likes to golf. I don't care for golfing.
Yeah.
I'm okay with driving the golf cart. But if my man is super into golf, great.
Yeah.
Go have a golf day with your buddies.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I need to know that we can either do hobbies together or have hobbies separately.
Right.
Like, because it gets annoying
and boring
and so boring if
and
you're
mundane.
with someone that just doesn't,
that they don't have anything that they want to do
outside of you.
Right. If I don't want to be your entire life, like
No.
it feels very suffocating, and that's not it. I've dated people before that I love that you want to spend time with me. I want to spend time with you too, but I also want to be able to go and do these other things and not feel bad like you're just sitting there, you know.
Well,
like,
and it's just seeing them passionate about something
like
else.
a bump on the log waiting for me to come back and be that entertainment. I don't want to be that. I also want to know that you have a healthy outlet for yourself. You're having a bad day. What makes it better? You want to go fish. You want to go golfing. You want to go snorkeling. You want to go shoot guns. You want to, and if we enjoy some of the same things, obviously you want that, you prefer that, but it doesn't have to be everything. So
No.
I think it's really important that they have something that they enjoy doing for themselves. Like you said, I want to know you're passionate. What do you like to do?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I had a coworker that I used to work with, and I remember one time he came in my office and he was like, I need to find a hobby. Because he's like, I feel like a loser. Like, I'm to the point where my kids are kind of off and doing their own thing now. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not so oversaturated with that. And he's like, my wife has her own thing. And then I'm just like, I just drank beer.
Yeah, like a hobby other than like going to drink, you know, like to
and
me.
That's what he said. He's like, I just want to know that I have this hobby that I'm like good at something else besides this. And I'm like, okay, then start doing some research. What is some stuff that you're interested in?
Well, and I think it keeps it interesting. If you find something new that you like to do and I don't know how to do it, like I learned how to shoot a bow last year, and I really liked archery. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was challenging. I still have one. I don't know if I'm going to be sitting my ass in a deer blind this year, but
you could still go and shoot though. You would enjoy that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I like having that, but don't be so closed off that those are that you only want to do your own hobbies. I want to know that you're also interested in trying some of the things that I enjoy. But if not, go do your thing. I'm gonna go do mine, and then we'll connect after, right?
True.
So, which leads to the next question. Do you have strong male friendships in your life, like family support, right? It doesn't have to be one and the same. My family is small. It
doesn't have to be family.
Family, friends. I mean, I consider Daidrie part of that, my family circle, that close circle. Yeah. But I'm just talking about like
relationships outside of the relationship.
Right. But also, more importantly, I think it is very important for men to have, just as important it is for women to have female friendships and to have other women in their lives. I think it's very, very important for men to have male friendships. I'm not ever going to be one of those women that it's like, no, you cannot go hang out with Bobby, because you need to go hang out with Bobby and you need to go talk about things that only you and Bobby want to talk about, and you kind of be able to go be a guy and have that. And I think it's just real, that camaraderie for men is so important. And so also, if all you have is female friends, red flag. You can have female friends. I have female and male friends. Mm-hmm. Daidrie does too. One of my very best friends in the entire world is a guy. But, if all he had was female friends, I'm sure his girlfriend would, if I was his only source, his girlfriend would be like, might have a problem with that, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta check
I
in.
definitely think it's weird when they don't have friends outside of a relationship in any aspect.
I think that's an issue.
It's a huge issue.
I think it's it's a red flag.
It is.
Because you should have people that care about you in your life and can want and longevity in that. And I also think that when a guy is able to consult with another man, yes, having female input is good, but there's a reason why there are men and women in this world. You should be able to get that kind of feedback and that fulfillment from both sides. And if all you are comfortable around is females, why? And then like as a man, and then also I think it makes, it's not good. So I think you should tell me you got a best bro. I love it. So I love a good bromance.
Same. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one's Lauren's.
No, I mean I think we
actually I've faced a few of these things too, like sexual preferences and hers is what do you consider cheating?
No, I mean maybe I wrote it. Mine was sexual preferences.
Sexual preferences is a lot.
The cheating question, that's not an out the gate question. That's we're getting closer within and establishing healthy boundaries within like an exclusive relationship. That's not going to be the question that I have day one,
No, but I do think it is important for sexual preferences because, I mean, I consider myself kind of vanilla when it comes to sexcapades. I mean, when it comes to me and my partner and us fooling around, that's great. I'm an open book. We can do whatever. But I've had guys out the gate, wanting me to stick a finger in their butthole. And I'm like, first of all, that's a boyfriend level request. And we got a lot of hurdles to jump over sexually before we get to that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same with there's some men that want to be pegged. I don't want to peg a man. I just don't. I don't want, and this is just me. Some women might be okay with this. I don't want to be with a man that also wants to fuck other men. I just don't. Because to me, that opens this whole other can of worms that could become an issue later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
I feel you.
Yeah. So, Lauren, she's done with that. But no offense to bisexual people. I have friends that are bisexual, but when they're in a monogamous relationship, they're with that person. But I don't think I would be okay with a man that is also fluid and wants to be with men.
So, I mean, I've shared, I believe that sexuality is, it's a sliding scale, right? And it's energy based. I find myself, if you were to ask me what my type is someone that I'm interested in and can have interesting conversations that I can learn from. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a certain of height or certain look or hair. I'm less physically appearance what draws me in. And so I don't have a problem with anybody being bisexual or having different preferences for themselves. I think that if you have a closeted, deep-rooted something that you are not comfortable with, I think that it's nice to kind of clear the air on that, because if that is something and then that's great. That's good for you, but you go in the friend zone, because I don't want to feel like, is Bobby that we were just talking about also Bobby?
Someone you're attracted to.
Yeah, right, because I can't fulfill that. I don't have a penis, right?
And she could use a strap on.
Not going to. Nope.
I know. I just never really have that desire to want to.
I'm more likely to use a strap on a female than I would ever use one on a male. Let's just be real.
I mean,
I'm just saying, that's not it for me. That's cool if that's your thing. That's cool if that's
there's zero judgment here.
Yeah, zero judgment. Zero judgment.
I just know myself.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
I like you said,
I want my person to be obsessed with me and
right. And if you are, and I know people who are bisexual as well, and so if they're in a relationship with a woman, then they're going to be committed. It's that's where kind of the cheating question I think we led into that was what is your like commitment level to that relationship? And if you're with me, I want, and we're at that point of being exclusive, I don't want to feel like you're walking around with your cup half full or half empty, and I'm as well.
And
right?
I'm not fulfilling you sexually.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
That's not healthy.
That's not healthy for any person to have to kind of compromise in that regard. I mean, some is normal, but not something like that serious. And it takes me a while I can enjoy myself and things like that from the get-go. I think sex is sex and it's supposed to be fun. But there are things like everything you just mentioned, or like if people have kinks, which is cool if they have kinks. I don't need to be like when guys, there's nothing more than a turn off whenever they're like, oh, are you into a threesome? It's like, we haven't even slept together, or we are just seeing each other, and you're already talking about bringing another person into this.
I had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, we were literally dating, and he told me that basically he doesn't think I'm his person because I wouldn't be down for like
y'all were like
consistent,
freshly committed, and he was like pretty much
threesomes.
like, if you're telling me that a threesome's off the board, then this relationship isn't for me.
Yeah, he kind of said that, and I was just like,
and I want to believe that if I cannot fully sexually satisfy you, maybe we need to mix that up and we do some fun things there. But I'm saying, but if you're not satisfied with me by itself, then that's me at my level. Like, that's what you're getting when we do this. So. The other things are fun little flavors and add-ons or whatever. If you choose to do toys or new places up in the sky, who knows?
in a helicopter, autopilot.
I mean, I guess now you kind of talked me down to reality, but my balloon's a little busted in. It's fine.
That's why we're going to just get you in a hot air balloon. Don't you worry. I'll be the pilot.
She would. That's
and
friendship.
I'll put some earmuffs on. I'll be like, y'all are doing great, guys.
Like a horse blind.
Keep up the good work.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that's important. Like, I'm not saying like tell me all your preferences, but like if you got that going on, I feel like you should. It's only kind to let your partner know pretty upfront. Otherwise, they may be signing up for something that they have no idea or would be comfortable with.
Yeah,
down
and
the
stop
road.
being like secretive about it. Like, why does everyone have to find out years down the fucking road when you're in a committed marriage that your husband's been going down the street getting fucked by Billy Bob? Like, it ain't good.
Right. And then I feel like if you're going to have this conversation, it's pretty nice to have an understanding of where the other one sits up front, you know, like.
Stop hiding things, people.
Yeah.
Stop living lies.
Yep. 100.
It just creates damage and cancer and hurt for every single person in your life.
Yeah, it really does. Next question is, what are your red flags? So I want to know what is like their no-go, you know?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Do not pass.
I'm readjusting. Sorry.
Yeah. I think it's really important to know kind of where each other sit on that, right? Because if somebody's like, that's a big red flag to me that
you have red hair.
I don't know. I just think
It's a big
telling.
red flag that you have an autoimmune disease. I don't want a child that has an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Oh, you judge people because while they're cooking, they try the food to see what the seasoning is. Like, that's a big thing for you, but it was not a thing in the beginning. Like,
Fuck off.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's just being nitpicky at that point.
I would just like to know what your red flags are.
Are your red flags reasonable, or are they fucking ridiculous? Is really the main thing.
Yeah.
The last one. Do you believe in a higher power? Are you spiritual, religious? Like, what is your faith as far as your background goes? Like, honestly, that is a big deal, because I do feel like, you know, based on how someone's raised and how the faith that they're brought up around kind of molds the person that they are today.
Yeah.
And so they can either be really reluctant to religion because of how their, you know, faith was growing up, or they could be over religious because of, you know, and that's just.
I think that, you know, if somebody was raised Catholic, they're going to have a different viewpoint. It's
100%.
fine. Like, I have plenty of people I love that are Catholic. Someone who was raised and does not believe in God or anything at all. And so I'm not going to be in line with that, you know?
Yeah.
Also, I'm more spiritual than I am religious in the sense of the world is very gray to me. You know, the whole saying, like being a fish in a fishbowl or being a fish in the ocean. And to me, that's what spirituality is. So I absolutely believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I just think that you need to think and believe in something. My partner, who I would be compatible with, not that everybody should think this, but my person would understand that there is more out there and something bigger than them. And as far as like life, like I'm a big energy, everything I've said it 100 times on here, positive or negative, everything is energy based. It's all kind of comes in from that. So if I'm with somebody who is just so completely different than me, it's not going to be, we're not going to be compatible.
Well, and I think there's so many people, and I'm one of them. I'm so turned off to, I mean, I was raised in church. Don't get me wrong.
Me too.
I mean, we're in the South. That's what
Bible
you do.
Belt, yeah.
And, you know, I am to the point where I'm so turned off by churches because of what I see, you know, like, of course I want to join a church and have like a faith-based place that I can go to and feel loved and accepted. And, but it just turns me off when I know some people that do go to certain churches and they're judgmental and they're ugly and they treat people bad, or they don't accept someone because they're different than them. And I'm just like, how can you stand on this foundation of I'm a Christian and I love everyone whenever you also have like such a judgmental view on how other people choose to live their lives? You know what I mean? And so it's hard for me to conform to any structured religion when I don't have the same wholehearted beliefs as those, you know, like I would consider myself a spiritual person. I don't want to join a church that I couldn't take my gay brother there with me and them welcome him with open arms and allow him to be a part of that, you know, as well. And so I know my mom and dad always give me a hard time. Like, we want you to find a church home and that's where you're going to find the person you marry. And it's like, that's not where I want to find the person I marry. Yeah. I want to find a good person that has the same beliefs as me, and we raise our children to be kind and accepting and loving of everyone, regardless of who they are and who they choose to live their life by. And, you know, I get the Bible has laid this like structure of this is what you're supposed to live by, but that's also very dated. And so,
well, I think that with that being said, so I do think that with structured religion, it can do a lot of harm in some people's lives, and it has. And I think that it can also be really positive and can provide, you know, a nice internal moral compass as far as like being a decent person, do not kill, do not steal, all of these things. Like, I think that is great. But it should not be the only guiding thing in your life. And as parents, it's our job to do that regardless of and outside of religion. And as far as what you're talking about, being able to go with your brother or whoever, I mean, I'm a single mom. Some people, you know, and sex outside of marriage and, you know, like, what are you, you know, there's all sorts of things, which I know that we talk about things on here. We're very open with y'all, but we also are very selective with who and how we spend our time. So it's not, we're just out there throwing the leg, you know, like, but if I go with my partner into that, and then I don't want to feel like, I just don't think that condemning, and for me, it is way more of a sin and a violation for people who pretend to be, they spew hatred and toxic viewpoints on judgments on other people in the name of the Lord. Like, to me, that's saying God's name in vain more so than the fact that I say bad words sometimes. It's because you are false. You are hurting people. You are doing horrible, awful things to your family or your daughters or whoever it may be. And yet over there saying, I'm holier than thou. And Yet, if you really knew what this person was doing, you would not see them as a Christian or as a good person anyway, right? So,
and same with like this is what I get frustrated with too. It's like, act the same way at home as you do at church.
Yeah.
The face you put on at church and show everybody, then you need to be like, I am going to walk into a church and I'm going to act and interact with people the exact same way as I would with my best friends at a bar or at home. I mean, I may not say a cuss word and be a little more, cautious in what I say just out of respect. But at the same time, it's like, I'm going to treat every single person the exact same way in that church as I do at the grocery store or whatever. And I've met a lot of people that don't do that. It's like you act one way in church, like you're this wonderful, amazing person, and then you come home and you spew and say nasty
bigotry
things,
and you're just this hateful human being, and or not helping other people. I mean, I think that being generous and kind and giving and putting good things out into this world, it does not mean that it should be able to, you should do it because you're helping, not because of what you are getting back in return or recognition for what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And even if that person is not ever capable of doing the same for you, believe that you are doing the right thing that is for you. I just think that Daidrie are very, very real. What you see is what you get, even though jokingly but truly, like the people they met me at business, they met business Lauren. Doesn't mean that I'm a different Lauren. It just means I'm a little bit more focused on one track minded on something that's happening, but I'm still exactly who I am. Yeah. It's just, there's levels to it. Mm-hmm. You and I know.
Yeah.
So I think that it's important to know where people stand on that. Mm-hmm. And you also want to know if they're a part of a cult.
Absolutely. And if you're in a relationship and someone's behaving that way, like,
yeah,
y'all go to church and that person acts one way and then you go home and they say mean, hurtful, abusive things to you, that's not healthy or good.
Yeah. And, it's, I think that really overall, the biggest thing when looking at these questions, and now that we've kind of gone through them, is you want to be equally matched with somebody. You don't have to be exactly the same. You can have a lot of difference, but as far as like in major
core
values, I think that has been, the biggest source of conflict. Like, I'm not a piece of shit. He was a piece of shit kind of, but also, if your core values do not match up with your person, you're going to have a lot more hurdles to get through, because life and relationships are already hard enough. So I would, moving forward, I think it's important just to kind of, let's put it on the table. See and if we're the same,
let's take a test.
Yeah.
let's take the Myers-Briggs.
I know.
And if you're our age and you're back in the dating world, I'm sorry. It sucks. And we're right there with you.
Yeah. Good luck.
It's a lot of fun.
Hopefully Dave will go on this date with this ginger and we get to hear about it.
I know. He's pretty cute.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
He's cute. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders. He's tall.
I like that.
I mean, hell, we could maybe have a baby ginger. That's really what I'm in it for. I'm just kidding.
You look like you got that good DNA.
Right? I'm like, let's make baby. How crazy would it be, though, if like two redheads got together and didn't have a redhead? Right?
Right. Be strange.
It'd be such a waste of redhead DNA.
Yeah. Chopper asked me yesterday, he's like, can you still have kids? Are you still? And I thought he was asking for other reasons. And then he was like, we would make a damn good looking baby. I was like, it'd be an Aryan baby. Both blue-eyed, blonde-haired, and he's like,
well,
I don't know how tall he is, but I stand to his shoulder.
Tall.
He's like,
no, that would be like a breeder.
Yeah,
that's why. Okay, so I'm short. I need to breed with a tall person.
I wouldn't mind breeding with him.
I know,
but not today.
I mean, I feel like I'm athletic enough that I could be a breeder.
Yeah,
I could climb anyone like a tree.
I'm a breeder. Look at my kids.
You're so tall. Your kids are so tall. Her kids are taller than me, and they're barely teenagers.
My almost 13-year-old is an inch taller than I am now.
Her non-teenager is much taller than me. How much taller than me is she?
I don't know. She's tall, long leg, thin, cheerleader,
And
long
she's
blonde
not
hair.
even she's not even a teenager yet, and she's already taller than me.
I mean, let's face it.
I think she asked me the other day, "Have you always been this small, Daidrie?"
Okay.
Ken Jean said something to me the other. Oh, you're gonna fucking love this. Keep in mind, when I say Ken Jean, she's 4. She is 4 years old. Did I tell this last week? I don't think I did. I think I told you the story. I didn't tell it on here. So I'm in the kitchen, and, I'm part-time mom because, my sister-in-law, she works her tail off all the time. She's always cleaning, doing something. So if I have to interject and discipline, I will. And I'm in the kitchen. My 4-year-old niece is on the couch, and she's wallering. She's rolling around. And I see her sippy cup fall, over. It's not a sippy cup. She's got, it's got a straw in it. I wished it would have been a sippy cup because then it wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. And so her chocolate milk is literally pouring out all over the sofa. And yes, the sofa is leather, but I don't fucking care. It's an expensive sofa. And I said, Kennedy, do you realize your milk's flipped over and it's pouring out everywhere? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, then get your little ass over here and get a towel and we're going to clean it up. So we get it cleaned up. And then she kind of comes with me and is following me outside. And I said, that was ridiculous. Don't let it happen again. And I said, if you would have done that at Dee Dee's house, I would have whooped your tail. That's what I told her. You know what she said? Well, Dee Dee, you don't have a house. It burnt down, remember?
Little shit.
I was like, who are you? And then she just went scrunched her little nose and just ran inside. And I'm like,
yeah, I'm telling you.
Spawns of Satan.
Yeah. But yeah, so attitudes are fun. Mm-hmm. And children.
Yeah.
And they all have them, regardless if they're 4, 14, or
I feel like they're born with it.
Forever.
At this point.
Yeah.
So.
Yay.
One day I'll get to deal with it too.
And then I'll hopefully have survived my motherhood and we'll be there to help you. But yeah. Anyway, so we'll figure it out. Yeah. And this weekend we'll see what happens.
Alrighty.
But we hope you all have a good one and a good week. And
we will see y'all next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.